Oh, hello. Welcome back to the 20th Century Dude channel. Just have a little Incredible Hulk comic book here I picked up for $1. And can't go a little wrong with a comic book every now and then. Gives you some reading material. So, anyway, this is just another pickups video. And to be quite honest, I wasn't planning on doing one anytime soon. I was just going to do one on LaserDisc in particular. Uh, but I also know that some of you don't want to spend 30 to 40 minutes seeing what recent movies and TV shows and soundtracks and whatnot I picked up. So I'll try and breeze through as quick as I possibly can. I mean, there's miscellaneous stuff, for example, like this Penn State Blue Band cassette tape. My 98-year-old grandmother apparently have. I feel like she just gave it to me because, to be quite honest, it's she's not gonna listen to this kind of stuff anyway. She's more of one of those old timey banjo gospel music kind of listeners, and this isn't gonna be her cup of tea. As much as hearing those college drums and trumpets is pretty cool. I was also given this another copy of the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack on 8-track, which I already have, but considering how fast I go through 8-track sometimes. It's not horrible to, have another copy just in case, There are a few VHS tapes, and keep in mind, I've not seen any one of these movies, so I can't tell you my opinion on them, because I don't know. I genuinely don't know. This is a Clint Eastwood movie called Kelly's Heroes, and we really do have a star-studded cast in this one. We got Clint Eastwood, Terry Savalas, Don Rickles, Donald Sutherland, and even Carroll O'Connor, Archie Bunker himself is in this. So this, I actually don't have to fight with it this much. It's a very tough tape to get out of the box, so I gotta figure out if there's just a way I can loosen it up a little bit. This is Deep Impact. You might remember this from 1998. It was the other asteroid film. The most predominant one everybody remembers is Armageddon, which I didn't like, by the way. So hopefully this one turns out better. But Deep Impact would be the other asteroid film that happened to come out this year around the same time. So people wondered if Armageddon and Deep Impact were like copycats of each other's. Sometimes that happens. It just does. Brand new in the shrink wrap, this is Clear and Present Danger. This is the third in the Jack Ryan film series, which reminds me I do need to get around to watching Patriot games as well. I thought this was the second one, honestly. That's why I picked it up until I realized, oh, it's the third one. Whoopsie. But, I'm sure we'll find Patriot games somewhere. And there are a few DVDs here. I'll burn through them as quick as I possibly can. Let's go with some Duck Dynasty, shall we? Who can go wrong with Duck Dynasty? We have the complete season 1 here. My family used to have it, and for whatever reason, I think we gave it to somebody to borrow a long time ago, and we just never got it back. We had season 2 as well. I have no clue what happened to that. So for some reason, we're missing all our Duck Dynasty DVDs, so I guess we'll have one to replace there. We also have, I guess it's a mixtape of Duck Dynasty's best moments. It's the best of Duck Dynasty from their first year or two on television. And of course, when you pick these up at a Goodwill, you want to make sure they're in very good condition. And browsing through these, it looks like we're in good shape, so you don't want those $2 to go to waste, Here we have Patton on DVD. I already have this on tape. I would have loved to have found this on a LaserDisc or Blu-ray, but DVD will do fine for right now. So there's Patton. And this is the Kendrick Brothers Christian film War Room. I don't know if you've heard of that before. It came out about 10 years ago. I actually met the filmmakers who made this film. You might also know them from Facing the Giants or Fireproof or most recently The Forge. But this is War Room, so now I have a copy of that for myself. So that wraps up for DVD land. Let's move on to some of our more main attractions. So we have some good vinyl to go through. This is an All in the Family record. I'm not sure what's on it other than the theme. I think they're like snippets from like audio excerpts from the show. That's what I think it is. I honestly don't even know without listening to it myself. I did have to tape the cover here on the top because it was a little worn out. Just take good care of your stuff. That way, the rest of us don't have to worry about taping anything up. And here we have some Beatles. Who can go wrong with some Beatles? This is the UK version of an American album. So it's nice to see a little alternative way of how between the US and the UK that we listen to stuff. And finally, the Smiths on some kind of format. It's one of my favorite bands ever, and yet I own them on nothing. Not cassette, vinyl, CD, anything. Until now. So it's their first album, just called The Smiths, and it's in shrink wrap too, so I don't think it's ever been used. I think this is the original print. I think it is. Because it does look a little older. So, yeah, their first album in vinyl and in shrink wrap. So I will look forward to listening to that. And here we have the Simon Garfunkel album, Sounds of Silence. I think the only thing I have Simon Garfunkel in is their very last album on tape. But that's about it. So, hey, at least I have something else to listen to now. And I think this is also an album my grandfather had growing up. I don't know if he still has it or not. Maybe he got rid of it at some point. I'm honestly not too sure myself. But yeah, here's some Simon & Garfunkel. And last but not least with the vinyl, we have the Genesis album, Invisible Touch. Who can go wrong with a little Genesis every now and then? We have all their famous songs, Invisible Touch, Tonight, 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 Land of Confusion, and Too Deep. On the front side, and then there's the B side. There's some more experimental stuff on there, although I will say the last track, the Brazilian, that is an awesome underrated track from Genesis. At least listen to the Brazilian. That is some cool stuff. If you had one of those hi-fi stereos from back in the day, that would be absolute fire to listen to. So this was a very enjoyable album to listen to on vinyl. And last but not least, in the main attraction for a video, I know this is what y'all tuned in for, we have some LaserDisc on the way. So there is some Star Wars LaserDisc. I'm going to breeze through that pretty quickly because I already released videos on these finds, so please check them out. But we do have here the Definitive Collection. This is the best way to watch the original trilogy at home, at least it was at the time. So I'm very happy to have this set, and actually at a decent price. I didn't have to pay an arm and a limb for it, or travel an excruciating amount to get this set. But we do have here the Definitive Collection. Again, I already did a video on that previously, so I'm not going to talk too much about this. In addition to that, also the Phantom Menace, which, again, I did a video of already, so I'm not going to talk too much about this other than, yes, I did have to import this from Korea, of all places. It is a Japanese-only release, but I did have to import it from Korea. So, yeah, that's the Phantom Menace. That's all we're going to say there. And as far as the rest of the LaserDisc is concerned, we have here... this is falling out. We have here Men in Black. Now, honestly, I already had this on DVD and tape, so I wasn't exactly going to be in a super big hurry to pick this up on LaserDisc. It sort of came with a lot, and I'll point those movies out very shortly. There is a lot of forced stuff on Shop Goodwill. I had seldom really used Shop Goodwill before. I heard mixed things about it. So I figured I'd go on a limb and get a LaserDisc lot. And this happened to be one of those movies, so maybe I could get rid of the tape. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. But nonetheless, here's Men in Black on LaserDisc. And as far as the other stuff from the lot, yes. This is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, which, again, I already have on Blu-ray and tape. Maybe I'll get rid of the tape. It is probably going to be in pan and scan anyway. And, you know, it's a beautiful widescreen Western from the 60s. Who wants to see it in pan and scan full screen, you know? I do notice here the running time, it says it's 2 hours and 42 minutes. Yet I know on my Blu-ray it says it's like 177, so it's just a little short of 3 hours. So I'm curious to see just what is missing from the film in here. So we got a little bit of pictures on the inside. And this is what made LaserDisc comparable to vinyl, because we know vinyl records had a similar thing. So this is what makes LaserDisc kind of nice. And let's see, where else were they? Oh yes, the Humphrey Bogart portion of it. We have here the movie Dark Passage, and again, I've not seen any of these Humphrey Bogart movies I'm about to show you, so I have no opinion on these. This isn't the only film that they've done together. I think the other one was To Be or Not to Be, or To Have or Have Not, something like that. I know they did a team up together, and oh yes, The Big Sleep. That's another one. Lauren Bacall. Back then, she would have been what we consider now to be. I'm gonna be honest. She was considered hot back then. Personally, nah, I don't see anything. I don't see that way. But yeah, she would have been considered hot back then. She was very much eye candy for the men. Men really did like Lauren Bacall. Personally, as far as actresses from the 40s, I'd consider pretty. Maybe someone like Ingrid Bergman, probably. She's definitely naturally attractive, so if anything, I would definitely prefer her over Lauren Bacall, but, you know, to each their own, I guess. Now, this is a very interesting Humphrey Bogart Laserdisc set, because there's actually 4 movies in here, not one, as they listed it on there, so I ended up getting, what was it, 7 movies for about $30 in the end. That's not terrible, I think. Let's see, we got The Petrified Forest, High Sierra, Across the Pacific, and Passage to Marseilles, however you pronounce that. I don't seem to pronounce anything right, it seems. Again, not seen any of these, although I'm not familiar with Passage to Marseilles, so I don't know anything about that film, to be honest. High Sierra, was that on TV one day, I wonder? I don't remember. Yep, that's it for the Humphrey Bogart portion of our video. So, the last of the LaserDisc sets, and keep in mind, I've only seen one of the 3 movies I'm about to show you. I'm going to save that one for the very end. So I went down to Moines, Pennsylvania, to this giant antique mall. I apparently was there before, and I completely forgot that I was there until I pulled into the parking lot and said, oh yeah, I've been here before. But there was, as I was literally heading out, we were finishing up the upstairs, I happened to see this crate tucked in a corner. It said Deluxe Widescreen Edition, of course referring to LaserDisc. And I happened to see that, and I looked in the crate, and there's all these LaserDiscs. Of course, I didn't take them all. I only took 3 of them that I wanted. 3 for $15. I don't think that's really bad. Because the other ones are more obscure films I probably am not going to be in a big hurry to pick up on any form of media. But anyway, to start out, this is the Civil War film Glory, which I do need to get watching at some point. I've been looking to watch this film for a while, and now I have the chance to do it. So, that's Glory. This film is A Time to Kill, if you remember that film from the 90s. And I had an opportunity to watch this once. I picked it up at an antique store once on tape for $1, and then I got home, the tape disintegrated on me. It just fell all apart on top, and there was no way to repair it. So unfortunately, I could not watch the film, but I can now. Alright, so the last film we have here is The Gary Cooper and Grace Kelly film High Noon. This is one of her first movies, and if we actually want to talk about a very pretty actress, she's probably one of the most beautiful actresses to ever come out of Hollywood. And this is her debut film, I think. So let's open this up because we have a very nice set in here. So it comes with this little insert here. Looks like a very miniature-sized photo. So I'm gonna have to frame that. And we get a nice big poster in here. That definitely I would like to frame at some point. I mean, not that it's one of my favorite movies by any means. It's not, but you know what? I think this is just asking to get framed. All right, so we got. I think it's. There's the movie. So for those of you who don't know, this is what a LaserDisc looks like. It's a big DVD. Maybe not the correct term, but it is a bigger DVD. You flip it over to the other side, play the rest of your movie, and there you go. So that's LaserDisc. And I'd say for today, that wraps up for this video. So thank you for tuning into this pickups video today. Looks like we have a very, very, very good amount of movies to watch and go through now. So very well pleased. I don't want to come off as too materialistic in these videos. That's not my intention at all, and I do try to keep myself very reasonably budgeted. That's why, you know, when it comes to tapes and DVDs, or LaserDisc in this case, you know, try to keep it reasonable, I think, as far as what you're spending, considering the fact that you know, I have school fees to pay for 4 years of college, and because I would like to actually get an apartment of my own, perhaps in a couple of months, so it would be good maybe just chillax a little bit. I was going to be on the hunt for some betas, but considering the fact that I barely touched any of the Betamax tapes I got from Burkett, like way back in the fall, probably would be good to hold off on that for now, so I'm not going to worry about getting any new Betamax films for a little bit. But that's all I have for today, so thank you for tuning in to the 20th Century Dude channel. Hope to catch you on the fly. See ya.